You could do like the Letterman ones where they come around.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's funny. What is your name, and can you please describe your business for me?
My name is Kurt Simrock. My company is called Arcanum Architecture. We're an architecture firm in San Francisco. We have about 20 employees, and we started in 1996. Two other people and myself started it at that point.
What kind of projects do you guys do at Arcanum Architecture?
Well, when we started the company, we did just about anything we could get our hands on. We did a lot of retail work, a lot of restaurants, as many houses as we could get. We really loved doing the houses. We first 5 or so years, 6 years, it was a lot of retail work. But that was very grueling, very intense, time consuming, and you basically had no weekends or a life doing that kind of stuff. They're working around the clock, building these spaces every day. They're not open, they're losing money, but they pay very well. So it was a great thing to do to start the company.
So you hire employees. What are the most important characteristics you look for in potential employees?
For job listings, we typically list in our professional listing, which is the AIA board, and also Craigslist. We'll usually get a ton of responses, mostly from overseas. People, I don't know how they find it all, but a lot of people are looking to come to the United States to work. Often, one quick thing we can use to rule out a lot of people is people who have zero exposure to the American system of measurement in feet inches. If it's just metric, we're usually a little hesitant because they don't know the sizes of materials and how things necessarily work. So just as a basic quality, we look for someone who has experience somewhat locally, at least in the United States locally, because it's kind of a global world right now. Other qualities, we look for someone who wants to explore in architecture and is interested in developing themselves and developing ideas. We don't want someone who's necessarily specialized in any one thing. We have a little saying, specializations for insects. We want to be more broad-minded, and we want to expand and learn across the platform of the different areas of architecture. There are a lot of different things you can do. So the more interests you have, the better. Other qualities we look for are people who are more well-rounded, who have outside interests, who come across as having a life outside of architecture is also important to us. Although it is a very demanding profession and takes a lot of time, we want you to do other things and have other interests. Another important attribute is someone who can write a pretty clearly written, grammatically correct cover letter. You'd be surprised what we get often. If someone can't clearly communicate what they're looking for in proper English, that's another quick way to rule someone out. Communication is really important. You're doing a lot of emailing people. So it's important that you come across as having some basic knowledge in the English language. So a good cover letter is very important.
Have you ever had an employee that you thought was going to be great, but then ended up not meeting your expectations?
We've had that many times, and it's always the case of someone overselling themselves. We've gotten better at understanding that people come in and say, oh yeah, I designed this, I did that and the other. And they really didn't. They were probably involved in preparing some of the information, but really didn't have the level of expertise that they're selling themselves on. So that's a harder one to look for, because usually they're very outgoing type people that oversell themselves. We've gotten better at figuring that out. In some ways, I almost think it's better to undersell yourself and come in and just kill it. And that just really blows everyone away. It's always a disappointment to feel like you overpaid or brought someone in at too high a level that they really weren't ready for.
How do you effectively motivate your employees?
Well, obviously, the main motivator is money. That's why people are working for the most part, except in fields like design fields. You're doing it because you love it, and you'd probably do it if you got paid very little. But we like to think we pay very well for what we are. Being a design firm in San Francisco is very expensive to live there, so we offer a pretty good salary. That's probably the first motivator. The other is we try not to put any limits on a person. The more that they're willing to take on, the more we're willing to give. We operate pretty lean. Like I said, we're only 20 people right now. And we have a lot more work lined up that we can't even get to at this point. We're 6 months backlogged. And so the more someone could put out, the more we're willing to give. And we tell them there's no limit to your salary or your level. It's really what you're able to do. And you find the people who are really self-motivated, and that's what we're looking for. I know this interview's for a Cal Poly student, and Cal Poly, we do the internship program with the architecture department there. Cal Poly has some of the most motivated students we've come across of any of the schools. So they're always our first choice, and you really don't have to put the carrot in front of them to get them to push themselves and further their learning. They're always willing to go that next step.
So, do you like hiring new employees, or is it a drag?
Well, the process of hiring is a real drag. No one wants to go sift through hundreds of responses, try to be fair to everyone, get back to them, let them know that we received their information. So the process I don't necessarily enjoy, but bringing new blood into the office is great. I mean, it just kind of revitalizes everyone. There's a new interest, there's new things happening. And to me, that's the office growing and expanding and just getting better. The more new people we can bring in, the more we grow as a company.